welcome to video number 15, and in this I'm going to show how to make a slide attack and also finish up the player's skills and abilities, and we'll work on a few debuffs and maybe some other things that I'll cover along the video. Just check the video description for the topics. So to start, let's go into animation and type in slide and make an animation montage out of this and drop it in the anim montage folder. I already took care of this part because it's just the same thing we've been doing for quite a while. So here, default slot, set it to body, and let's add some notifiers. Let's put a launch, and let's turn the collision on and off. I'm just gonna place this properly. So here I'll turn it on, and right after the swing I'll turn it off. I'm gonna put a reset notify at the end of this whole thing, and I'll put a camera shake. About there, I guess. So now that we have that, let's go into Warrior, open his blueprint, and look at where it says pretty much like dash attack or his right click. So we're gonna go down basically where the blocking is. Here you're gonna see greatsword mode. So after true, we want to initiate our slide attack, and where this chain is coming from is when the right mouse button is pressed, it checks if he's alive, stops his energy regeneration, makes the character face the camera. It checks if the character is not blocking and dodging. Then if that is false, it's going to go down this chain right here. Check if the character is attacking and can he smash. If he can't, well, here's the chain where we're going to be working. We're going to work out of this. So let's get a do once. So you hold O and you left click. You want to play anim montage. You can connect these together. Put a delay and connect both pins. And you take completed and put it into reset. And true, you put it into reset. Now what we need in between all of these, well, basically between these two nodes, is minimum, maximum damage, camera shake, launch, things like that. So let's start with launch force. Then let's also get min damage and a max damage. Let's also get a camera shake. Oh, wrong one. I just need the variable. So here, set camera shake. And then I'm just going to change these values. Camera shake to 1.5, max damage to, I don't know, 45, minimum to 35, and launch force to 1500. That can be changed later. So let's test this out, and then in the next segment we're going to fine tune it a bit. So switching modes, and then I'm going to right click. Oh, looks like nothing's happening. And that is probably because there's no animation montage. Sweet. I kind of do these on the fly, so you can imagine how things screw up. I'm kind of used to it now. So let's switch swords and right click. There it is. Now I'm going to pause the video, and I'm probably going to give him an animation trail, and we'll fine tune this attack. So for the fine tuning aspect, I'm going to explain this in 2 bits. Well, first off, I moved my whole thing down. I made some room, so it's right here. Now here, from greatsword mode, this true was leading into our whole slide attack. So what I did with false is I connected it to the reset of the do once, and in between this node and the do once I put a branch, and in the branch I check if energy is greater than or equal to 30. If it's true, then you can continue down. and here's your do once again. After your do once, you're gonna take your energy, you're gonna set it, and you subtract 30. So you can see this energy node, I used it here too. You can ignore this variable called can slide. We're gonna use it in the second half. So you should probably make a boolean and call it can slide, and we're gonna make use of it after. So this is just to make the player lose some energy as he performs the attack. Now I'm gonna pause the video again. Well, actually first let me just show you what happens. Is that variable that we made called can slide, I'll show you its purpose, and then we're gonna go ahead and put it in. So as I'm attacking, when I do my first left attack, I can cancel it out and I can perform the slide. So before it's even done, I can perform this attack. Now if you want that in the game, that's fine. You could keep the code the way it is, because I don't think it's not gonna get triggered. Oh, there you go. See, it got triggered. So it's kind of interfering with our second smash, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, so here's a small fix, a bit of refinement for the sliding attack. I did it as much as I could for the time I have, but if you see any other bugs or glitches, write it down in the comment and I'll try to look into it. So what I did is this can slide variable. Well, before that, let me just explain something else with the branches. So here I had the energy. So from true, I made another branch down here. And then in here I put all these conditions. All of these have to be false, because if any of them is true, then you can't proceed. So if you're attacking in the middle of an attack, you can't perform the slide. If you're switching, you can't perform it. If you can smash or second smash, then you can't perform it either. So if all of these are false, then you continue down and you set can slide to true, and he's gonna do all his animation, everything. And after the delay is complete, you set it to false. Then if you go back to movement input, here in the OR box, you can make a new pin and add can slide. So maybe I might run into another bug, I don't know, but let's try this out. So already I can't move, which isn't too great. So we switch modes, slide. Okay, so we're moving around. The bug, I already knew it was there, I'm just gonna fix it, but here, if you notice, I'm gonna left click and right click quickly, nothing happened, I didn't slide. So if I attack and I go into my second smash, I'm just right clicking all the time. There, I didn't slide again. But here I could do it. Next thing I probably would want is, as soon as I slide, to stop this attack, because if I'm in the middle of the animation, see, I can cancel out of it. So in the next fix, we're gonna get the character moving from the start and prevent this. Okay, so to continue to refine our sliding attack, I think you could move during the game, but I couldn't because I accidentally set this to true, so I'm just gonna uncheck this. It's the can slide variable. Then coming into my left mouse button, here where I have switching and dodging, I can add a pin and put to can slide. So if I'm in the middle of that, I shouldn't be able to attack. So I'm gonna give that a shot. And if it works out, well, I guess sliding attack is done for the time. Okay, so first thing, I can move. So sliding, now I'm left clicking a lot and I couldn't perform an attack. I couldn't cancel out of this. So that kind of worked out pretty well. And if you notice, if I dodge, our dodge attacks are left intact also. So I guess that's pretty much it for the sliding attack with our greatsword. And we'll continue on in the next segment to work on this, the healing. Okay, so let's get started with the healing segment of this video. So in my do damage comment box here in this area, I'm just going to expand these. So what we're going to do is we'll check the player's damage output and we'll transfer a percentage of that damage output to his health when the draining skill is on. So I'm going to go get draining skill, and I need 2 branches. I'm going to connect drain into the condition for both, and I'll pass both true and false here both true and false will go into apply damage, but we're gonna add something to this. Now here there's a custom event. I'm gonna copy and paste it, and I'm gonna call this drain HP because it's my drain skill. So what that's gonna do is, here I have minimum, maximum damage, and random float in range. I'll copy paste it down here, and I'll go get health. I'm gonna add to that health a random float in range. It's not actually like a vampire drain, but I mean I just called the variable drain. What it is, it just transfers a bit of the damage you're doing straight to your health. So it acts like a draining ability, because as the enemy loses, you're also gaining. So I'll put a branch here and I'll connect health. Actually, I won't connect health. What am I saying? I'm gonna go and check if health is less than or equal to 100, or even better, if health is less than 100. I think this could even be 101. Oh no, let's set it to 100 just for now. We can mess around with this later. So put that into the condition, and let's set health. So if this condition is true, we're gonna go and set health, because the moment health reaches 100, there's nothing for us to do here. So I'm gonna comment this, and I'll call it drain HP, just like the comment, just like the custom event. And up here, for true, I'm gonna call that event I just made drain HP. Now when I press E, it's gonna activate this whole segment, and I should be able to drain health. So let's test it out, and like usual, if anything goes wrong, I'll fix it in between breaks. First, I need to take some damage from this guy. Okay, so now that I lost health, now I've activated the skill. You saw my health go back up. That's because I'm taking that exact amount of damage that I'm dishing out, and I'm diverting it straight into my HP. But I don't want to take all of it, so now we're gonna go get a small percentage of it. So here in random float in range, we're gonna multiply this. Oh, not by. We're gonna multiply it by a float, and we're gonna pass this through. So if you want to get 50%, we put it to 0.5. But let's say I just want to go get 20%. Now it's gonna set a percentage of my damage straight back to me as health. Okay, I'm gonna activate the skill. So as you can see, it's working. I'm getting my health back as I attack him. So that's pretty much it for the health skill. The only thing that's missing is a visual cue to explain whether it's on or off, but I mean, you can work that with the widget, or you can have effects playing on him, or something that loops. I don't know, anything you want. But I might go into it if you guys need it, so if you really want that, just put it in the comment. If not, I'll leave it out. So next we're going to cover player flinching and player burn. So every time he does his fire attack and we're on fire, we lose health. And it's about to come like this. So I should be losing health now, but I'm not. So let's go fix that. Before we proceed to player flinch and fail, and there's something else I want to add to this blueprint. It's so you stay immortal for a small amount of time when performing an attack. It's just so you have a few invincibility frames, so your animation doesn't get chopped off in the middle and totally screws up the blueprint. So that's something else we're going to add. But for now, let's do burn damage. So here I have my debuff burn event. So event burn P. So as my player's on fire, I want to make him lose health. The way to do that is you make a new function and you call it burn damage. Now one thing I want to check is, okay, so there's no variable that says player is burning, and if we need it, we'll make it later. So let's go get, back in the function, let's go get health. And I want to check if health is less than or equal to 0. Because if this is true, then player's dead. We're gonna execute the dead animation. However, if it's false, well then what we're gonna start to do is subtract health. So we're gonna subtract a certain number. We're gonna get float in range, and then you can set the minimum maximum damage the fire can do. So let's say it's gonna go from 2 to 5, so it's pretty bad. I'm gonna set health like so. And then I'm gonna go into my event graph. Just gonna move this to the side. So the moment this event executes and the emitter responds, what I need is I need to call that function. I need to set timer right here. Oh, sorry. We need to put this at the start. Sorry for the confusion. Just gonna move this to the side. There you go. So it's all plugged in, and I'll put it to looping, and function name burn damage. Now that I have that, let's say I want the character to lose health every 0.25 seconds. Now, after the delay, I want to turn off that function. So I'm going to clear timer. I'm just going to make this bigger. Now I'm going to get a clear timer. And I'm going to put in the function name called burn damage. Now, if you don't want this thing to overlap and cause any trouble for errors, let's say, what you do is here you're gonna put a branch, and let's make a new variable, and we'll call it burning. Make sure it's a Boolean variable. So if he's burning and burning is set to true, well, you can't do anything. But if he's not burning, then you can carry on, but before you do that, you need to set burning to true. And once he's done, the timer has been cleared, so the function where he's losing health has stopped. We're going to set burning to false. Now I'm going to compile this. I'm going to go into my boss blueprint. I'm just going to modify a few things so he always does the burning attack on us. Now, if I'm correct, it was debuff 2. Yeah. I'm going to plug all of these into debuff 2. Now I'm going to play and see. I'm just going to keep my distance from him. If he doesn't attack me anytime soon, oh, there he already did. So look at my health go down and as I'm on fire. So burning worked. In the next segment, we're going to set up flinch and fail. So let's work on the fail and flinch animation. So the player is going to flinch if he takes a hard hit, and he's going to fail if his health goes to 0. So to start, go in animation and type in hit. I want you to make an anim montage out of take hit. And next one, we're going to type, actually just go all the way up in the animations and you should see falling back. So if you type falling in here, you're going to get this animation montage, this animation clip, and make a montage and put them both in the anim montage folder. And then, I'm just going to show you flinch. I called my flinch animation w_flinch. So be sure to set default group to body. and I added a camera shake, a launch, and a reset in this. For fail, I didn't really put anything, although I could put a field of view. So when he fails, right here, boom, it zooms in. The next thing I did is, here, I'm just gonna do this part again, because I did this off screen and it crashed several times, so I figured I might as well just do it and explain it. So new montage section, put it to loop, click on loop here, and then click this green loop. So there, you have the character looping like that. It's not very pleasant, but now he's vibrating. So let's go back to the warrior blueprint, and we're gonna call out these events. So the first thing we want to do is, here if you run down this chain, you have this little isolated health variable. We're gonna do a branch here, and we're gonna check if health, where is it? We need to get the health variable. If health is less than or equal to 0, we're gonna play the anim montage where he fails. So I'm gonna play anim montage, and I'm gonna call this, my anim montage is called W_fail. This is where he dies. Now once this happens, I have a variable called alive. I'm gonna set it to false. Now up here is my shield, and what's my shield gonna do? I'm gonna pass it down into the same branch. If ever you get errors in the editor when you run it, or when you open it, maybe a multicast, multi-delegate function, it would just mean that you would need to have 2 of these, because sometimes it doesn't like it when you go split branches and then you go back to, you combine branches again. I don't know, it's weird, but it does it. So here he's gonna fail, and then we're gonna check if his health is not 0 or below, so it's in this area. I'll put another branch, and I'll get damage, and I'll check if damage is greater than or equal to, I don't know, 10. If this is true, then we're gonna go and play our flinch animation. So I'm gonna copy this, paste it, put it under true, and type W_flinch. Then here for false, what you would want is to check his health again. So connect that, and if this thing ends up true, well, you go back to the fail anim montage. You could pass this down and connect it with the flinch animation montage. So after the flinching, it'll check if its health is less than or equal to 0. So yeah, we have quite a roller coaster going on here. So let's go get beat up by the boss. This isn't final. In the next segment, I'm just gonna check if there's any mistakes and clear it up again. If I don't play the animation, oh, there I did. So you see? But notice how while I attack him and he hits me, I flinch. So it cancels my attack. This is something we're gonna fix as well. So in the next segment, I'm gonna fine-tune this, and if you find any errors on your end after this video, well, write a comment in the section there. Now we're gonna check out how to stop from flinching in the middle of an animation. There's 2 ways to do it, and one way is by making 2 animation notifiers, one called, let's say, immortal on, immortal off. So when you begin your animation, let's say this is the area right here where I'm scrubbing. This is where you don't want to flinch, but afterwards, from chain to reset, here you can flinch. And this area, hopefully you could see it with the mouse, this area you want to flinch. Well, you would need a notify here along the red line that says immortal on, and then immortal off at this red line. When it's off, you can flinch, and before it's on, you can flinch, but in the middle you can't. But that would mean that you would have to go through every animation montage and put 2 notifies on each of your attacks. But I'm not gonna do that, so what I want is, currently if I go to, let's say, my movement input, these are pretty much areas where I wouldn't want to flinch. So when I'm performing my slide attack, I don't want to flinch. when I'm in the middle of casting a skill, or a spell, I don't want to flinch, neither while I'm switching, dodging, or attacking. So what I'll do is, maybe yes, I do want to take damage, but I don't want to flinch. So there's two options here again. So right before this animation plays, I can put a branch, and then I can go copy all this, and I can paste it into and plug it into the branch. So this is the first method, which would mean that you're already taking damage, but you're not playing the animation. So here, instead of true, false would go into this section, and true would go into checking if your health is at 0, because then it would override whatever you're doing with the death animation. But the other way is, first let's plug that back in and take out these two pins. I'm just gonna but take this whole segment, and we're gonna move it at the beginning. So the first condition we had in the branch, it's if this is true, then you can carry on. So if I'm doing attack, dodging, switching, skill active, can slide, if any of this is on, then I shouldn't proceed. So I'm gonna leave that branch connected, and here from true I can bring it down, and bring false up there, and connect the condition. So here the controller that's damaging is not us, so continue on, and then it checks if any of this is active. If it's not, continue on. Now if you don't want to put another branch node here, what you can do is even get rid of this, and this was a not equal, so damage instigated by, so if it's instigated by player controller, it's true, which means we can add a pin here, plug that in there, and connect that to the first branch, and pass true down. Oh, sorry, pass false down. Oh, I totally lost it there. So if any of this is true, nothing's gonna happen. And I hope I didn't confuse you guys too much with all that talking, but just here, pause the video and copy this if you want. If this doesn't work, just write a comment and I'll have a look at it. But now I'm gonna go and take a beating from the boss, but I'm also gonna hit him, or I'm just gonna dodge around him. See how that affects the gameplay. So he's gonna perform a hit. Okay, I totally flinched there. So you saw I took a hit, but I dodged at the same time, and there was no flinching animation. So here I didn't manage to dodge at the right time. So I'm gonna wait for him to attack. Oh wow, it's pretty quick. Well, this is pretty much doing the job. There, you just saw. My reaction to the flinch was a bit delayed, but when I hit him, and he hit me at the same time, there was no flinching animation playing. It plays afterwards, which is strange, but I'm gonna fix that glitch, and that pretty much fixes the little bit of immortality you can have. So in the next segment, I'm gonna troubleshoot the failing and the delay in the flinch. It turns out that I was a bit wrong, because the delay in the flinch it was just collision capsule issues, but I can't really fix it because it's more animation oriented, and since the animations aren't something I made myself, well, I'm gonna leave that out. But what I will continue on with is, here I noticed that the player gets launched, and you want to set launch force, and you want to put it to a negative amount, to, I don't know, a negative 800 maybe, and you could set this value to anything you like. Another thing is when your player fails, you can still move around. So here in movement input, so if he is alive, you should continue down, right? So in false, let's make another branch and leave that connected to true. So we're gonna go get alive and put it in the condition there, and here below for the move right input axis, make another branch and connect the alive condition. Now when the player's dead, so alive is set to false, well, you can't move. So let's go take a beating and watch what happens. Now the same thing I did with the player, where he's attacking and he's immortal, we can add to the boss too. But for the boss, we'll make it so that he takes damage. So you see, as I flinch, I move back too. But if I block, there's no flinching. So my shield animation is still intact. Now it's a matter of just standing there and taking hits from this guy. Oh no, look at that. He's re-triggering it over and over and over. But if I move, I can't. Now the solution to making it happen once is do once. And that's what we need right before all this. So do once. And here's a wire going into the anime montage, so we pass it through here. And this one we pass it through here. There you go. So now our do once is set and the death animation only plays once. So I'm gonna compile and I'm gonna save this. Now let's go get our boss. Just gonna close this stuff. So in our boss blueprint, let me find get damage. So for get damage, let's see, where does his health get? There. His health gets subtracted here and the flinch animation is right here. So if he is an ultimate, you shouldn't flinch. And if he is in the middle of an attack, so if he is attacking, you shouldn't flinch as well. So continuing here with in ultimate, I could type or, connect that as the new condition, and put is attacking in there. So he's not gonna flinch, but what I want to check is if his health, here, if his health is less than or equal to 0. So this whole thing, I can move it down and you'll see the wire. So yes, he's an ultimate, or yes, he's an attacking. Continue down. Is his health a 0? Yes, well then you play the death animation. So now when he's performing his attacks, I should be able to hurt him, but not make him play the flinch animation. So it's almost the same as the player, but as the player you don't lose health, as the boss you do. So that's it for this segment, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. And I think we're almost done making this game, so I'm gonna go over my notes and see what's left. So see ya. I know I ended the video, but here's something that I noticed. There's a little bit of extra stuff. In the boss, for example, when he's attacking, he's basically, you don't see any of this flinching or whatever take place, although he is getting damaged. So what I figured is we can at least make him flicker in terms of his material, his color. And since we have the command right here, we could just put that in here, in true, because we already know it gets triggered by flinch animation. So here I can put in flinch color. There, it's here and here. In fact, it doesn't really matter where you put it exactly. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter if you put it at both places, you could just put one node here. So this thing, you just pass it down, and same for this. So you know at least that he's taking hits. And the other thing was, let's go into the player debuff burn. Here I have my function up here. So when health does reach 0, you want to call an event that we're gonna make, and it's gonna trigger the character dying. I'm just gonna copy a random custom event and I'll paste it. right where this fail and montage is. I'm gonna rename this to player fail or player lose, and I'm gonna pass this into the do ones. So this way in burn damage I can call player lose, and this way even the fire can kill the player. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought I was done the video, but now I'm actually done the video. So see you guys in the next one.